Chainsword Diaries is coming to you from Immortals Inc. Studios. Hey guys, welcome back to the Chainsword Diaries. I've got TCD Jeff, TCD G, and myself, TCD Matt, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about the deployment phase and how important it is to you in the game and what you can do to help you win in the deployment phase. So guys, first off, what you got going on this week? What have you guys been doing in the 40K world?
Been doing a lot of painting on my Adeptus Mechanicus. Trying to get those guys tabletop ready to, bring glory to the Omnissiah and burn some people and some heretics and all that good stuff.
Nice, nice. I'm on this mission to get rid of all my bits and the bit boxes. So I'm just putting together Marines, like just legs, whatever, and making them all just default Death Watch. So I can just dump them. Yeah, because Marine, I just have to put that special shoulder pad.
Oh, yeah, that's actually... Well, you get a ton of extra ones in any of the kits.
Yeah,
so,
all the kits come with 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to have a huge army of Death Watch by default, so which is fine. I mean,
yeah, I was going to say 2+ to wound on anything other than a vehicle, right?
No. 3. They're Marines. They're just Marines.
No, 2+ to wound. You got the Hellfire shells or whatever.
Oh, yeah. The rounds. Yeah, I love it.
I was going to say, I mean...
they were really good, yes.
Really good.
If that's what you're trying to say, yes, they're really good.
They're really good.
As long as you're shooting something without a door, yeah, they're really good.
Yeah. No, I use the Kraken, I guess, on the vehicles because that just gives anything... It adds a -2 AP to weapon already.
Oh, wait, is it the
it might be called something else, but...
Oh, I know what it's called, and it's going to bug me. It's Vengeance rounds?
Vengeance round, okay.
Yeah.
Because they're -3 or -2, -3, whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. -3 inches to the range, but whatever. We'll get there. We'll
get there.
We're close enough. We can do it, guys, So, yeah. What about you? What have you been doing, Matt?
I've gotten in a little bit of that Cleveland 40K experience. Got out and played at the battlebarn.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
how was that?
it was really good. I got in. The guys over there were getting ready for the Michigan GT coming up.
Okay.
And so I got to play with some pretty competitive heavy hitters. And you guys know normally that's not my thing, but I thought that I really played pretty well. I had the game going into turn 6. Turn 5, he brought it back into semi-competitive range, and it was 11-5. And he had horrors for days. I think he brought something like 80 horrors. Horrors. Yeah.
Oh,
would have been a much better party if it was the other way.
Horrors.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
like, man, I gotta go to this.
It's
battle
like, man,
barn.
I missed this one.
Yeah, there's a barn. There's a barn for the 40K and horrors. I'm in.
G sensed the disturbance in the force.
Wow.
Yeah, no. No.
If it's that kind of party.
Horrors. Horrors.
If it's that kind of party, I'm putting my belt gun in the mashed potatoes.
That's right. That is right.
Oh my gosh.
All right. But yeah, he had about 80 horrors or something like that with the changeling, which means that they were 4-up saves, re-rolling ones. They were really hard to take off the table. He still had 3 units left at the end of the game. Ended up pulling Defend Objective 2, Defend Objective 4, and Defend Objective 6, which happened to be the 3 objectives that he was on.
Of course.
And I snatched defeat from the jaws of victory.
Nice.
It was
You're definitely in Cleveland.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's Cleveland 40K.
Right. Now, everybody was playing a competitive list. Though.
Yeah.
These guys are actually gearing up for a big tournament.
Saw a lot of the Chaos Soup.
Okay.
A lot of the Chaos Soup.
So how many people were there?
There were 10 people.
10 people. How many were Chaos?
Of those 10, there were 7 Chaos players.
Wow.
1 person playing Imperial Guard.
Okay.
1 person rocking pretty much G's Smite spam list.
Okay.
From Grey Knights.
I like that guy. I like him.
Yeah.
Sir.
Friend for life.
Yeah. This smites for you.
And then I saw a really interesting big bug list. That
Big butts?
big butt list.
Horse and big butts?
Oh my
That's how
gosh.
they do at the Battle Barn, yo.
Battle Barn,
No,
guys.
no, it was
okay.
a really interesting Tyranid big bug list.
Do you know how it fared?
Again, it was a squeaker. He ended up playing against Ben and his Thousand Sun army with Magnus. Again, it was kind of
How many Primarchs were there?
There were 7 Primarchs.
That's so good.
It was including Morty and Magnus running up the table on the host
safe
list.
side.
Yeah,
Oh man.
that was rough to see. That was really rough to see.
So these are ITC, right, or something like that. What are the rules for this tournament coming
did you
up?
play just the Maelstrom game?
Yeah, what
or
was it?
what?
Maelstrom?
We played Maelstrom. The guy
that
that I
what-
played with, we played Maelstrom. But
Was
it's
that not the rule of
no, it's not. Michigan GT's playing very similar to the Nova style with the choice of progressive.
you get to choose.
Yeah, you can either choose progressive or standard scoring, and so they were playing that and gearing up for that. And honestly, all my experiences with really heavy competitive guys, I know they get a bad rap in the 40K world, but all these guys were great. Jackie put out a great spread for us. We had some pulled pork, kicked back a couple of beverages.
Man.
It was.
I got 40K in a barn, pulled pork, big butts, horse, Magnus and Morty. What? I gotta go. I'm not missing. I'm not missing another one.
I'm saying.
Hilarious, man.
So what did you play actually? Let's talk about what you did.
I brought Death Guard. And I didn't bring Morty because he was getting a little work done in the shop, getting a little
His hair did.
nip and tuck. But 10,000 years doesn't hang so well on everybody. You got to keep that shit tight.
True.
So so what I did was I ran the list I'm officially dubbing the Irish Car Bomb.
Oh, I like it.
And I ran rhinos and
Just blowing them up.
yep, just driving them into people and blowing them up. And,
That'll kill some whores.
Yeah,
Horrors.
it did. Horrors.
That'll kill them.
TCD does not endorse the killing of whores. It's just not appropriate.
Love them. Don't kill them.
Yeah.
Oh man.
We're all about the love.
Wow.
Jeff, you might not want to have your girlfriend listen to this one.
Oh
She's
my
going to have to
gosh.
skip.
Yeah.
Like Jeff, I didn't know whores were in 40K.
You're not allowed to hang out with G anymore.
That's probably what it would end
I
up being.
thought he was a nice guy.
I don't want him in the house anymore.
No, my girlfriend.
Is that what you're doing? 40K whores?
My girlfriend's really cool. She's probably fine with all this.
Okay.
So
I know how it goes.
So Irish racist, by the I like it.
Yeah,
Very
no, a
racist.
little bit of racism.
So, okay, how
everything's green. I figured I was being
that's
appropriate.
right,
you know?
And you were drinking brews, and
I,
so all right, that makes
I
sense.
was technically I was mixing my metaphors because I was drinking scotch as I do,
Okay.
and I drink the scotch so you don't have to. I think that's how it works.
hey,
Isn't
you're
it right,
stealing.
Jeff?
You're stealing my
That
stuff,
that
man.
yeah, that's
That
definitely
was
Jeff's
just
thing.
that was just blatant
Guys,
copyright infringement. That's
Right,
all I heard,
man.
man.
Wow, you know,
we-
You get no love today. You know?
There's no
Yeah.
shame in my game.
Okay, so you blew up some stuff, right?
Yeah, I blew up
Used
some stuff.
stratagems. and
A bunch of demon princes running behind that,
Okay.
running smite all over the place.
use your command points properly.
I did.
How many command points did you end up getting?
I ended up rolling with 9. I had two brigades.
Oh, love
It will be 10 actually when I play with Mortarion,
it. Yeah.
because I'll be able to scale back some of the stuff that I ended up taking
Does
with
he
the demon
give you
princes.
command points just for
He
existing?
does not give you command points,
Doesn't
but
Robbie G though?
Robbie G does.
3.
Robbie G and so does
Basically a whole other detachment.
Big Bad Abaddon. Big Bad Abaddon will bring you 2.
Yeah, 1 or 2. Yeah.
And Matt, do you know if Magnus does?
I don't believe Magnus does.
I hope he doesn't.
No, Magnus
say,
does enough work on
he's
his
too
own.
good.
Let
I
me
was
tell
gonna
you,
say,
man.
I thought he was pretty good. I've heard mixed reviews though. Some people say he's kind of meh.
Yeah,
the people
they're
who
not
say
right.
he's kind of mad aren't running
They're-
him right.
They're already
I
drunk.
don't know.
They're
So
drunk.
I'm
don't
not up
listen
to
to them.
snuff on all the Primarch stuff. So.
Just think that he's rolling 2d6s
I
on
was gonna say
smites on
2d6.
9s.
I was gonna say, like, I thought his smite was, badass.
Yeah, he brings the heat.
He's got an invul save and he gets to reroll 1s. Right?
And
Yeah, 4+
yeah.
influence.
yeah, on top of that, you can Pair him up again with, like we talked about a little bit last week, give him a sorcerer, warp time him up the field.
Mm-hmm.
He is in your face, ready to party.
That's a look of geez. That's the TCD
Coming up quick on that pork sandwich.
Right?
You're taking a bite, and all of a sudden Magnus is up on your whoa.
Whoa.
Didn't know it was that kind of party.
Yeah.
What's your boulder doing there?
Magnus, is that a pork sandwich, or are you happy to see me?
Oh my gosh.
We have lost all control. So let's bring it back. Let's talk about the deployment phase. And, really this is what I feel something that I've grown the most in 40K is learning how to utilize this phase to dictate the flow of a game, both in determining the deployment type, which is a key ingredient to this, as well as figuring out when to place what models where. The easiest armies that you'll see do really well with this in competitive and friendly environments are going to be things like a little bit about what we talked about in the past couple weeks, those Elysian units that are able to...
Yeah, a lot of deep strike.
A lot of deep strike.
Or infiltrate, I guess.
Infiltrate is
Love me some deep strike.
Yeah, well, so I guess everybody has their own special rule, but we just call it deep strike.
Yeah,
it's all deep strike.
Yeah,
it's all deep
Feel
strike.
No Pain, deep strike. Those will always be around.
Yeah. G didn't even play when there was
I
Feel
know,
No Pain. He still calls it Feel No Pain.
Because everybody else calls it.
That's how good it is.
That's what I do when I bump my toe. I'm like, "Oh, are you okay? Feel no pain." All right.
I rolled a 5.
Rolled a 5.
I'm good.
That's how I roll.
Okay, so are we gonna go right into? You want to start with talking about deep strike as part of deployment, or like, you guys will have way more experience than I do in this stuff. So
I can tell. Well, I think G's talking about and the fact that he's only been playing 8th for a little while, and you've been playing since mid 7th.
Oh, I guess I see what you mean. Okay.
So, and this is something that this is one area of your game that is going to translate across editions. No matter how much the game changes, there's always going to be the deployment phase, and figuring out how to manipulate your army to take advantage of this is really something that you need to take a look at.
Well, absolutely. I mean, when you talk about how big first turns are and alpha strikes are, deployment, you could argue, is one of the most important parts of the game.
And we've seen cycles of the game go where alpha strike armies are going to be the way to go, and the counter to that is once alpha strike armies seem to get too big, a null deployment army comes along, and you're starting off with next to nothing on the table for somebody to shoot at that can probably weather maybe one round of shooting.
Can you still do that though, with the half rule, right?
You do need half of your units now, but again, half of your units can be...
Could that be
5
rhinos?
guys?
Could that be?
That's true.
It could be
Right?
5 guys.
Like 5 characters,
Okay, and that's half, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, there's really great ways to kind of mitigate the null deployment. That was something that got used against me in the game on Friday. Was I had to set up 7 units before my opponent put a single unit on the table because he was running 6 units of raptors with 3 plasma each and a chaos lord with wings that was able to deep strike as well.
Yeah, I think universally, I mean, and this I got from watching other battle reports, is like instead of deploying your first guys, you're just putting everything in a deep strike.
Yep.
I'm starting to realize that too, because it's almost like a game of chess, because how
it is.
It's like you want to have certain units set up a certain way. It's like you don't want to show your hand too early so your opponent can counter. The way it is, like I put one down, you one put down, because like previous editions, it was I put everything down and then you get to put everything down.
That's so right.
Unfair, yeah.
So you get the person going deploying second had a total opportunity to counter exactly what the first person did. Now again, there was usually the person who deployed second usually wasn't able to steal the initiative or go first or whatever, but
I don't. When I play Grey Knights, I don't even start with my warlord on the table. Like Grandpa stays always in, he's hanging out in the warp or whatever the chamber is, and then I'll play him later. Yeah. Like, and then what I like to do, I guess we'll just get right into it, right?
Yeah.
We'll just peel the layers. What I like to do is after my deep strike, I put a target in the middle. I put my Land Raider right there. So that way he's like, ooh, I can focus on that. And then I'm still kind of secretly deploying or trying to manipulate the board, however I can.
I know you like to use Deep Strike too to like for Maelstrom. Like if you get an objective card that's like way deep, you just drop it.
I just land right on it. Yeah, it's like I love it so much.
Free victory point. Yeah. Well, and the bonus thing too, you have the ability. That's okay. Like even if it's like way off in the middle of nowhere, you can gate that unit somewhere else. So you have that advantage, whereas a lot of other armies don't have the ability to gate. So like if they want to do that and they drop their units, say, back somewhere that's not advantageous, they could waste a Deep Strike for a victory point. Now, again, if it's late in the game, that could be, well, I guess it can't be late in the game.
Can't be too late.
Yeah, it can't be. Yeah. It can only be turn 3. But,
turn 3 is it. Yeah, that's why I play less vehicles when I play Grey Knights, because like they can just move freely, at least one unit can.
Right.
But everybody else, I've got Land Raiders and Rhinos and blah, blah, blah. But, yeah.
So another thing to take into account when you're talking about deployment is the actual deployment types. There are 6 different table setups. And taking into consideration the type of army that your opponent is playing can really mitigate your success throughout the game. One big example that we've seen of that is when you have a heavy assault army like orcs, you're going to want to go ahead. You're going to have a preferred couple deployment zones. You're going to really like the spearhead deployment, which gives you the pinpoint towards the center of the table long ways, so you can load up the middle of the table and get pretty much where you need to be right off the bat. Or again, you have Dawn of War, which is the long table edge, so you don't have to travel as much across the table. Or if you're facing that army or staring down, hammer and anvil is where it's at.
Well, I mean, do you? So, but you have to roll off for those, right? So those are at random.
Well,
and then you're
changing.
changing.
You get to pick.
Or do you get to pick?
Technically, one of the players.
If you win the roll, the other person gets to place their objective first, and you get to place your objective second and choose what deployment type, which is a big advantage.
But then they get to place the first unit who didn't pick deployment.
That is correct. I think they've done a better job of balancing that than in past games.
I end up like just start rolling stuff because like honestly I forget that order sometimes.
Yeah, it's funny.
Start rolling off.
Yeah, like when
I think it's the most fair. I don't know.
I like it because I like the fact that the game starts when you're making your army. Like I love that. You like the game starts way before you arrive at the game store, and like that's actually like round 1. Round 2 is like deployment and stuff like that. So I love that. But when I play Grey Knights, I talk a lot about Grey Knights. I'm sorry.
That's my hope.
I don't care what the deployment is.
Yeah.
Like I like whatever.
Yeah, you're so deep strike heavy.
Yeah, because I'm just gonna deep strike and I'm gonna put my rhinos in the back, and I almost like if I know I'm gonna go turn first on the first turn, I'll deploy a little aggressively. But other than that, I'm just gonna chill out and wait. Let's see what you do. I'll weather whatever storm, and then that's when my guys are deep striking. But that's just that army.
Yeah, I feel like that's unique because like I played Mechanicus today. And it's like I don't have any deep strike at all. Like the only way I can get deep strike is if I'm a particular Forge World, which is like a particular chapter for Space Marines, and I have to use a stratagem for it. Like I guess I have the Infiltrators, the Sakarian Infiltrators. That's the only unit in the Codex that can do that. That can deep strike. So it's like literally like I'm thinking about it. It makes me think more because like normally I play Space Marines with Terminator, so I have that big deep strike unit that I'm like, all right, boom, deep strike. I got scouts maybe. I'm gonna infiltrate with these guys. Like I got flexible deployment. Whereas like with this, it's like, man, I got to put everything on the
table.
So it's like, honestly, what I've learned now playing it, at Mechanics, this is actually the first time I've ever played Mechanicus ever, is like, you really got to hold off when because the you go, I go deployment, like I place one, you place one. You really got to hold off before you show your hand. Like I had a couple combos, like bubbles that I want. Like I have the Dune Crawlers with the Neutron Laser. He's got an Imperial Knight, so it's like I need to make sure I have these big heavy hitters in the right spot to start hitting that Knight turn 1. So it's like I'm waiting so I can get my units down in the right spot to counter.
Do you save so are you waiting for his Knight first and then you're deploying around that Knight? Because that's normally what I would try to do. Like,
right.
I'm just gonna give him a target, so I'll put my Land Raider and then like I'll put stuff that doesn't matter. If it dies,
Right,
it
that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was putting stuff that didn't matter. Like I was putting down like my Rangers and like my Vanguard. Like those are just my troop choice, my
Dudes,
infantry.
yeah.
Yeah, like the guys. Like they're not. I know that like I love the models. I think they're cool, but I know they're not gonna win me the game. Yeah, they're just gonna die. So it's like I'm putting them down just to keep almost milling his opportunities to hold on to his knight as long as possible. So
Okay.
So that's a style of deployment that I'd classify as reactionary, and that's a great
kind of who I am though in
right,
this game.
and that again follows in line with what you're saying. Whereas G is more of a flexibility deployment, and then there's the aggressive deployment. Again, looking at an army like Khorne or like a heavy hitter, even with your Black Templars.
Yeah.
You're setting the pace by getting your assault units up front and dictating that as soon as possible.
Yeah. When I played the other day when I played my Death Watch, I was like right up on the line. I was like, I'm gonna get to go first, and everybody's shooting. I'm telling you right now, I'm just gonna whatever you put out, it's gonna die. And I like blew up his aggressors like immediately, like they were gone, and a group of Hellblasters, because that's what I focused on. But yeah, I was like, I'm gonna be very aggressive. We were playing the Relic anyway, so you want to be up. You want to be up on the Relic anyway.
Right.
So, yeah.
So in that case, you have kind of that aggressive, expansive kind of deployment. It's another thing that you're going to see a lot of with the Mortarion lists, the Death Guard, where you want to have that kind of waved tiered approach, where you've got your heavy hitters up front, your mid-range Plague Marines following up behind, and your artillery sitting in the backfield. IG are another type of deployment that you have to look at.
IG doesn't move though, right? Don't
Right.
they just their tanks sit there because they can hit anywhere?
But they have that huge bubble wrap of all those conscripts.
And that's
the only thing moving then, right?
that they don't even move.
Oh,
What that fourth type of deployment is going to be is an area denial deployment. This is going to be the style of deployment that you're going to see with an army like an IG or a Tyranids, where you're, rather than saying, like Jeff was talking about with
orcs, you
Adepti,
could argue potentially.
or orcs can float between one of three.
They can
really.
kind of. But they die. Well, I mean,
They just
They die. They
Sure.
do. There's no two ways about it. They just die. But hopefully they bring a lot of stuff with them, and they do. But in this case, you're trying to actively deny two of the type of deployments that we're talking about. You're trying to stop the type of list that G's playing by swarming the whole board, so there's nowhere for him to deep strike except for exactly where you want that unit. And the other benefit is it's really, really effective against flyers, because flyers have that mandatory
they have to move
movement,
and they can't go on
and
an
you can
enemy
dictate
model,
how a flyer is going to move just by
That's okay.
using
I didn't
those
think about that,
armies
Well,
placed really
But don't
well.
they want to go over you anyway? The flyer,
well, if they can't be placed, they're destroyed.
if they can't be placed, but
They
you
can
don't
only
have that
go-
9-inch. You only have that 1-inch rule when the game starts, though, right?
Right.
Right,
can
but
move.
what
they
you're
have a
talking
minimum
about,
move, and they can only do 90-degree turns, depending on the
Okay.
flyer.
what we're talking about then is taking. We're looking at, this is the type of armies that are playing 150 bodies,
All right,
and they're
an inch apart, or
literally
you're literally it's
spaced
mathematics.
out. Yeah, spaced
okay.
out, so there is no place.
Okay.
They're literally denying a third of the table until things start dying, in which case you're selectively picking off units.
Well, that, and they also have those commissars that just kill a model and you auto pass the morale check.
That's right.
Well, now I thought the FAQ though it's no longer 50-man, or the new codex is no
Correct.
longer 50-man conscript.
Still
units.
30.
Still 30.
And you can take 3 detachments, and if 3 detachments of 30, that's 180 per detachment.
Wait,
How many
That's
bodies?
90, right?
No.
3 times 30.
3 times 30 is 3, but you can go up to 6.
Okay.
I see. Yeah.
Okay.
That's 180 bodies.
Yeah. Okay.
You're gonna have 540 if you do 3 detachments.
That's right.
I wonder how many points a model
how
are they?
fun is
4?
that?
4
though?
points.
How fun is that's not fun.
540. I mean, you wouldn't be able to fit that in a list.
it-
though.
I guess I wouldn't move either then. Like I'm not moving either. I'm just not. If you're
So-
playing a Maelstrom, I guess. Right?
So realistically, G, what you're looking at there, you always talk about playing those grindy armies like you used to look at in a Magic game. This is going to be a hard counter deck. They're literally denying you what you want to do with the game by just throwing all this fodder in your way and literally kind of countering
Yeah.
your
Okay.
shooting
That's
phase.
true.
That's true. That's probably why orcs don't do the horde very well, is
Right.
because they don't have that access to auto passing morale easily, like without the stratagem. Because like Tyranids, they can auto pass if they have synapse,
Yeah.
Right.
and then conscripts can if they have a commissar. Whereas orcs, they don't have. They have the mob rule, but we saw in our
Yeah. Thanks, pal. Good looking out. Yep.
Love you too, buddy.
I mean,
Yep.
yeah, I guess I don't know. I've not faced that, so I'd like to face that.
yeah, it's not that.
And
I
just to
haven't seen
see-
it myself. Like it's not that common.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
It
I mean, I played Justin.
just won Nova.
Well, that's
It-
true. But I'm saying like my like personal experience.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I played Justin. He was kind of that, but he did it was 90.
Yeah,
90 gone.
90 gaunts, which is still a lot of bodies, and on top of that, he had a lot of big threats that you had to pay attention to
Right.
as well. But it's
Could have had that one.
Yeah.
I almost had that.
Yeah.
game.
See, my new thing is snipers. To deal with stuff like that. Like,
Right.
yeah, I think that I want like 3 or 4 units of deep strike, and I want some snipers. Let's just kill a character.
So
you know,
we
get a
doing
Vindicare.
a Space Marine Grey Knights merge.
No, I just bring Vindicare assassin, right? Vindicare.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, dude, those things are so good.
They're so
Yeah.
good. They hit on 2s, wound on 2s.
I know.
It's pretty
why
good.
not?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
3 of them.
So, oh my gosh, he's that guy.
He's that guy. You didn't figure that out yet?
Yeah, yeah.
But that's your slogan. He's that guy.
But if the
guy.
other guy is that other guy, then I have to
guess.
be this guy. You know, like I have to be
That's
that guy.
fair.
So the guy's got 90 conscripts and like whatever the
snipe
commissars.
out the commissars. You got to go.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Right.
snipe them dudes. Yeah, all right. They'll move.
I love
I-
this guy. All right.
All right.
I see how you do.
Yeah.
No. So we talked a little bit about deployment types and what to consider. Now, there's actual things to consider when talking about the physical placement of your models. There are a lot of mistakes, and this will go army to army, regardless of what you're playing. There's a lot of mistakes that you will see. The best example that I can use is everybody's in love with the new Hellblasters. They have 24-inch range, unless you get the 30-inch gun, which is
The heavy one, right?
Yeah, the heavy one.
And then there's the assault ones, right?
The assault ones as well,
Yeah.
which are also very nice.
So good. I used
But,
them yesterday.
You know, I like that's I don't. Man, the new Space Marines, they get the cool
I need
Shiny
another
new
one.
toys, go
Yeah,
figure. It's GW.
I know.
But no, so
Do I sense a little assault in that? You know, a little chaos.
I have hated the Imperium for many, many years.
It's a long war.
It is a long war. Been sitting out here in Suckland for 2 editions.
That's true, but think about what we talked about earlier, though. The Battle Barn, you got guys going to tournaments, and 7 out of 10 players are chaos.
Chaos
players.
now.
right, man.
I'm all happy. Death Guard. Oh, so hot.
Yeah,
So hot.
stop living in the past. Quit crying.
true.
It's a
Live
new.
in
It's a
the-
new
live in-
world,
live
man.
in the
I
past,
didn't
you
bring
die
it
in the
up.
past.
I
New
didn't
world,
bring it up.
man.
It's true. I just
New
you know.
world.
So it's okay to bring up the past if you're going to tell me about how my orcs got their ass handed to them. But I get a little bitter.
That's what I tell people.
And
Like,
everybody's like, move on.
this is a new world, man. Beyonce's black. Leo DiCaprio won an Oscar, and Trump is the president. Y'all, this is a
A
brand
new world.
Gosh,
Brave
hey,
new world.
You got your Trump reference in there.
Yeah, I got
you
it
go.
in there. Got it.
Slid that in there.
Right in.
Okay, so
So good.
sorry.
So no, what I was saying,
Placing.
Hellblasters. They're great guns, fantastic, but they have 24-inch range. And what I see a lot of people doing is they're trying to go with a castle type deployment. Going back to the chess reference, we were putting 1 unit of Hellblasters on one side, 1 unit of Hellblasters on the other side, and all of a sudden you think you've got board control because you're controlling 2 halves, when what you've really done is cut your firepower in half and the ability to respond to anything. So you really need to look at, what do I need to put in the middle of the board? Is it your assaulty unit that needs to go right down somebody's throat?
that's what's gonna die. Whatever you put in the middle of the table is what's gonna die. So like, have a unit that's expendable. Well, if you don't go first, they're done. Alpha strike is a thing in this game.
Absolutely.
So I've heard.
I don't want my Hellblasters there. I don't think I put them down last. Like if they're have a plane. You know, you have you love your hearses and stuff.
Hearses and churches, man.
You know, yeah, flying hearses and churches. I want to put them where if I get to go first, I'm going to shoot them. And if you get to go first, I want to protect my Hellblasters because you're going to look at them like, oh yeah, I need to kill them.
Right.
You know, they're an instant target. So I don't know if that's bad. Like,
well, I think also,
I guess if they're heavy, you don't move them, right?
Yeah. Well, I think also, I mean, there's a couple ways to look at this. If you're Raven Guard, you can deploy them anywhere you want. So this is a totally different conversation. But also, you think about it in 7th edition, where the 6-inch standard movement. Yeah, I know certain things get more movement, but it's like 6 inches. Back then, like that deployment probably isn't that bad. But in this edition, it is because there's so many things that move way faster. They can get to the other side of the table and only have to deal with one or whatever, or swoop in, charge them. It's totally different ball game with the varying movement profile.
And the tactics, tactics that haven't existed in 40K actually work now. Hammer and Anvil is more than just a deployment zone. You can bring in Morty coming down the side and bring up Magnus coming up to run them into Morty. You know, there's all sorts of things. So while I totally agree with you, whatever you put in the middle inside of range is going to die.
Yeah.
But is it worth sitting Hellblaster 6 inches back, which is outside of range of most things other than dedicated heavies, which aren't going to be a ton of shots, to be able to take that 6-inch step forward, maybe lose one on the shot on the first turn, unless they're Death Guard or whatever the case may be, and have access to be able to shoot the whole board?
I think that's okay. I think guarantee that they live is worth hiding them that 6 inches, and I'll take that penalty in the shooting by moving them up. I think that's worth it because
I agree.
They're so valuable. You know, like the plasmas are insane now. So plasma and las and
the incinerators are insane. Regular plasma, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's solid. But
60 raptors with 30 raptors with 3 plasma each is no joke. Let me tell you.
Yeah. No,
I got that right down my throat.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you think about but the difference between -3 and -4 is massive.
It's huge. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So there are also armies where castling does make sense, and this is where you want to look into.
I think IG
is a fantastic example.
Yeah, I think my when I finally played Death Guard, those that mortar tank thing.
That's the army I wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
Because by creating that hammer and anvil opportunity where you've got you're driving forces with Mortarion towards something, because nobody wants to face Mortarion and that scythe in close combat. He is all kinds of bad news. You're driving him into range of your artillery shells, which are going to go ahead and chew things up.
What's the range on those guys? Suppose the Plague Burst Crawlers?
Plague Burst Crawlers, I want to say, they're just like Vindicators, so they're short range.
24?
Yeah, 24, but I think you can get them out to 30 with a stratagem, if I'm not mistaken.
It's still kind of, well, I guess if you're rolling
but
with
again,
them,
you're driving them into it.
I'm rolling them up because I think there's a plague weapon when they shoot, so you're re-rolling one. You know, and then I'm going to blow them up with the strategy.
Just run them.
Irish Car Bomb, baby.
Yeah, I'm down for Irish Car
Full
Bomb.
circle.
Yeah. Love it. I think that's pretty sweet. So, and that's why I can't wait to play them, because I don't know. I know my game style will change. So, exciting.
Well, after playing AdMech, I think they're kind of. I guess you could be aggressive, like maybe if you play like Castellans or something like that. But I thought
those are those big.
But don't they have to
things.
not? I don't remember the rule. I don't play them, so I don't really know. But do they? I don't think they have. They can't move if they want to do like the crazy amount of shooting together.
I believe you're right. I think they lose shots as they move.
Something like that. Yeah.
Right.
But I will say though, at least the way I'm reading the codex, at least at this point, is a lot of it is like you just got to hang back and just sit and shoot with Mechanicus, like, because they don't have much close combat, like outside of a couple of units. Like you want to hang back and just fire.
And just score points.
This brings us to the third physical style of deployment, which is kind of that Maginot line, where you're sitting.
Tau,
that gun line, Robbie G with.
Oh my gosh, I forgot.
Robbie G in that gun line where you're conga lining units outside of him, so everybody's re-rolling everything, and.
Is it a 6-inch bubble for him, or is it more?
I think it might be more.
Is it 9?
I want to say it's 9.
I don't know.
Yeah. But or again, your new AdMech with those Castellans with the knights.
Yeah, they don't have. I mean, so Call is Belisarius Call is the only one who
Right.
actually gives you full rerolls,
Yep.
and it's only Mars. But the Tech Priest Dominus gives you reroll 1, so he's basically a captain.
Hey,
I was spamming
nothing
it. I was
wrong
using
with
it. I was
reroll
using-
ones.
All you need to do is reroll one.
That's
all
well.
you
That's.
need.
I mean, I roll
Hitting
one.
on threes.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
hitting on
it's-
threes,
That's just
reroll
That's free
ones.
rerolls right there for
Yeah,
me.
you need those. You need those.
That's just so I can play normal
So-
40k.
Yeah, I mean, so what else to as far as the deployment? What about you play planes? So what do you do with those guys normally, or do you even does it matter?
I get it. Kind of does actually, because like the way they have the minimum movement and stuff like that, and we kind of touched on it a little bit. Is
Yep.
if you start them in the middle, and depending on the deployment, I'm just thinking mainly like Dawn of War.
Yep.
If you start them in the middle, you can actually get like a diamond shape. And you
Yeah.
can cover actually every part of the board, just about. Like there's one corner or quarter you can not
that you
really
lose
touch.
every turn.
Right, but you're covering the most, and you're guaranteeing them to be able to stay. Now, it goes back to if you start denying me area to move, I'm out of luck. So then it goes back to it kind of depends on how your opponent deploys too, because
Right.
your planes you need to kind of plan out how they move because
Yeah.
they're so limited in their direction. But if they can't be placed, they're gone.
Hover
Yeah.
mode, baby.
I
know
not
you-
everything
you
gets
can.
that. Not
some
everything
some
gets
can.
that.
can, not
Yeah,
all
not
of
everything gets that. So there are ways to counter to utilize flyers effectively. So rather than go in a diamond pattern, which would be the standard pattern that you'd want to utilize a flyer in to be able to use them in all the rounds, hopefully until they die. You're going to start them off at one end and fly.
Yeah,
in a
I like
W
to do
pattern.
that. Yeah, I like to do that
And
too.
you're just going across the table to you're
It's like
again
you're playing pool.
Yep, and that's
Yep.
exactly right. It's just pinballing on down the
Yeah,
line,
yep.
and you're costing yourself around the same loss of area, but it's going to be in different
different
swaths.
times. Yeah.
But that's really two things to think about that I think
Okay.
about when I'm playing flyers.
I got Black Stars coming, so for my Death Watch, and we'll see. That'll be my first. But I think that plane is a little different than the rest.
Yeah, it's a transport, and I believe it has hover. So yeah,
it does have hover,
Yes,
yeah.
but I was gonna say, that's what I kind of did when I played you in that first game on the Battle Report. I actually had two planes, and I kind of started them off at separate ends
Yep.
to kind of like weave in and out to kind of get a lot of coverage and stuff like that. But
No, you went after my Dread Knight.
Yeah,
my,
I did.
Yeah, Lord. I figured that. So, yeah.
he dishes out mortal wounds. I figured might as well use it on
No, it's
something.
Yeah.
Kill it. Yeah.
Kill it with fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Then the
yeah.
Terminators do work. When they come in later on.
Yeah.
That was my plan. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess, let's do some advice. All right. So what do we, And
So summing up in the advice, the
Yeah.
first thing that you want to think about is you want to think about what style of play fits you most. Are you a reactionary player? Are you an aggressive player?
Well, that goes with the list building too.
But,
so
yeah,
it
but
kind
so-
of
and
So
army.
it all
Yeah,
ties
it
back.
all
It all ties
in.
back to what you're looking at.
Right.
So you talk about the 4 different types of styles of a deployment type, that philosophy that you want to do, and then you want to look at what your opponent's playing, and mix in that philosophy with the 4 tactics that we talked about. Does area denial screw with your opponent's list? Does a full frontal assault with a heavy center deployment? Does it work really well to be able to use that hammer and anvil tactic? What are you going to do to get the most out of the list that you brought while sticking with the philosophy that you came to in the game?
Now I feel like a lot of lists though are kind of hampered. Like they only have one play style.
They're
still early.
Mobility is a big thing that you have to take into consideration. If your army is not mobile, do not play a castle list. You will end up losing, especially in any kind of progressive scoring mission where you're going to be trying to capture separate points on the table. You are going to lose out. Make sure that you're planning to move to where you need to be. But area denial in that case always works really well.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I think that about covers what we're looking to talk about in the deployment phase. We want to hear from you, Chainsorters. Let us know what you do in the deployment phase to win the game. This is kind of the number one skill that you can bring to help you with your on-the-table play. learning to win in the deployment phase. It's what's going to take you from somebody who wins 20% of their games to somebody who wins 50% of their games. Literally that much of a difference. So it's something.
Let's do a study on that. We'll get a number. Let's do a study on that.
You get right to work on that.
I'm curious about that.
No, I just pull it right out of my ass. That's where it comes from. It sounds good. We're going to go with it.
It made sense to me because Jeff's the 20%er and I'm the 50%er.
Wow.
I was like, no, that's right on. That is right on. Actually, I thought that's where you were going. So I was like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's about right. G says I'm 30% better than Jeff. I mean, it's what it says on his shirt right here. And I'm surprised Jeff hasn't talked about it yet.
Wait a second. Hang on. This is not cool. I beat you. I've been playing a lot better now. Like,
hey, I didn't say that I'm good. Yeah. This is in the.
We don't have a grudge match. I just like picking on you. There's no like.
Well, I think this is turning into a grudge match.
Because
it makes me want to beat you.
No,
just so I can. Talk shit back.
You should be. That's fine. But I talk the same shit to Matt. I don't think he's beat me in months either. So.
Ooh, shots fired.
Shots fired.
Yeah, I don't think I've lost in like 2 months.
Are you talking about? Well, I guess that was probably 2 months ago when I beat you
with the towel. Yeah, and no, that was the last time I lost. That was the last time I lost, actually.
Wow.
Oh,
I feel honored though.
There you go.
No.
Yeah.
So it's just fun. It's just fun, guys.
I know.
If you're sensitive, then get some lotion, because I don't know.
Because he's gonna chafe.
Some lotion.
He's gonna chafe. This might burn a little.
Sensitive skin. Go put some gloves on. Some dainty white gloves, girly gloves.
TCDG, big ball of shot collar. Letting the people know.
I mean, there's an ass kicking coming. I know it, but I accept it. Oh yeah. No, I'm gonna cut all this shit out.
All right. All right, guys. So deployment is important. Let us know what you think.
Deployment is important. Location.
I think I've heard that before.
Yeah.
No, make sure that you let us know what you think in the comments. Subscribe to the channel and let us know what you want to hear about. We're going to be going into the movement phase next, talking about we're going to be kind of working our way through an overall game through these podcast episodes. So we're going to be talking about movement next. After that, we're going to be getting into a little bit of early game strategies, how to win the early game. So
I will take over that episode, guys. Don't worry.
Well, all right, we're not
winning as much as I do.
Well, don't roll. I roll one, so you don't have to.
And we're signing off from Immortals Inc. Studio. This is the Chainsword Diaries.